Hello, my name is Raynell Schneider, and I'm part of Artists del Norte, a local art group that meets in Fridley. And we'd like to interview a couple of our local artists tonight. And our first artist is Sharyn Erickson. And Sharyn has a wonderful new book that she has illustrated, which she'd like to talk about first. And this is quite an accomplishment. So when did this get published, Sharyn?
It got published right after the first of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a huge learning curve for me because there's a lot of legal things that go into doing a book. You have to have barcodes, you have to have all the different things that the government requires. The pages all have to be in a certain order. And I learned how to set up a website, which for me was major. And I did all the illustrating, the drawing, and got it all ready for the printer myself. So it's called Little Monster and the Bullies. And I started doing it because of all the bullying that's going on now. And I wish there was an easy answer to it and a way to stop the bullying, but I tried to do my part to show children especially that it isn't anything they're doing wrong. It's the person that is doing the bullying has the bigger problem, and the reason he's picking on the kids is because that makes him feel better. And so that was my main goal. And in order to get my characters to be silly and childlike, I boiled cotton paper with leaves and flowers, and different patterns emerged, and it just showed me what should be on the page. And that way I used only those illustrations, and that way I didn't get bound up in reality or anything else, and it made it definitely more that the children like it. And I've been sharing it with the schools and daycares, and the kids are like it a lot. And they've all been very gracious and thanked me afterward. I show in the back of the book how my characters came to be, and that's kind of interesting for people. And it's just a fun book for kids to read, and hopefully it'll do some good.
Wow, I didn't know for sure. I actually haven't read it yet, so I'm looking forward to.
The children really do like it, and apparently I've donated several to different institutions and everything, and they like it a lot.
Wonderful.
So that's good.
Wow.
But like I said, it was a huge learning experience.
What is your
for me.
website?
My website is www.thesensitivemouse.com.
Ah, cute.
Kind of fits.
Were the illustrations in that book the same size as the book?
They are.
Okay, because I know sometimes they do them larger and then they make them smaller.
No, I did them on standard size paper, all the originals, and then I put it in a format that the printer could use. And once it was published, I had it printed, and it was a very fun learning experience.
Okay.
I've been working on other books too, but this one, it takes a lot of energy. And
That's wonderful.
So I've been working on other ones too.
That's great. And the actual name of the book is?
Little Monster and the Bullies.
Oh, Little
He's
Monster
an innocent little monster
and the bullies.
that was hatched all by himself, and he has to learn to find his way, and he wants friends, and it's very hard for a little monster to find friends. And so the other outcasts met him, and they learned that together they can do a lot of things, and if they watch out for each other and help each other, anything is possible. So I'm hoping that it has a good learning value for children.
That's wonderful. Wonderful accomplishment, and that you did have the energy to follow it all through and go through the process.
Well, setting up my website was one little bit at a time, otherwise it was too overwhelming.
I'd like to have a website someday, but I don't, so I'll have to talk to you. And then this is one of your gorgeous pieces of work. And what is the name of this one?
This is yellow cactus flowers. I took the photos when I was in Tucson, And I braved the desert and the rattlesnakes to get up close and personal to these cactus. And
What time of year did you
Spring.
do that? It was in the spring before it
the
got
carp-
110.
Right. The desert flowers were just all in bloom. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Hmm.
And so in order to paint them, I crinkle up rice paper over a canvas, and then I paint in oil, and it takes me forever to paint. It isn't something that I just whip out overnight. I am very slow and very
Just meticulous.
meticulous, right? And that's why this was so much more fun, because I could just go crazy with the different characters. I didn't have to think about reality or anything.
Well, I love this. I love the way the light's coming here, and then all the detail you have before it blooms. I was in Arizona too last year in spring, and they were just starting to bloom. And so I took a few close-ups of them, but they're very beautiful and come in many colors. But I love your background. How did you get all those subtle, like, little branches and lines in there?
That's what takes so long. Just a teeny bit at a time, and very,
Yes.
you go over it and you glaze and you glaze. So it's
Oh.
probably about 18 different coats of paint on
Oh,
there.
my.
And you just keep,
No wonder it takes so much time, but it's
It does.
absolutely beautiful.
thank you.
Composition is just takes you all the way through. It's very, very wonderful piece of art, and the colors, and it's gorgeous.
Well, I do like color, as you can see by some of my other work too. The older I get, the more I like color.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to free myself up a little more, to get a little more adventurous.
Yes.
I like to try new things. My motto pretty much is, I wonder what would happen if.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always good.
Yeah. Well, that's how you find out. Some things.
I've set my deck on fire one time with my blowtorch, and it's all in the name of art.
Good. All right. Well, let's look at the next piece that you have to share for tonight.
This piece is me trying to loosen up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I did this with a knife.
Oh, palette knife.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And I like doing it. It's hard for me because I like to nitpick things, but I enjoyed doing it.
So no brush at all was used on this?
No brush. It's with a palette knife and lots of paint.
I tried that once too.
Oh.
I wanted brushes.
Well, it's
Oh,
a different
man.
thing. I put texture on first, like I said, with rice paper crinkled up.
Huh.
And that way you've got things to work against with a knife.
How does the rice paper adhere to the?
I use gel medium,
Oh.
and then give it a base coat. I use my hands for almost everything. I don't use many brushes.
Hmm.
And I just constantly, I probably have it under my fingernails right now, but
Mm-hmm.
I like just getting up close to things, and that's why I do a lot with my hands.
This is extremely rich and colorful too, and there's a lot of subtle colors down in here with reds and aqua and
Well, you can do that with a knife.
all intermixed. Yeah, it's really
Just
cool.
pick up the pure color and just
Very cool.
put it on. So
And,
that's an entirely different style again, but
It's oils again.
it's oil.
Oils again.
You almost have to use oil because acrylic dries too fast,
Okay.
and it needs to stay wet so you can move it around.
Okay.
But it is messy.
Uh-huh. Well, that's fun. That's like kids when they like to finger paint, they get right in there.
I do have another interesting piece there that's made with PBO paint, and it's a paint. The paint is made in France, and you can only get it certain places because it's not distributed very widely. It's very toxic paint. And so when I use this paint, I need to wear rubber gloves. I have to be outside, and it has to stay outside for at least a day for the paint to dry and to cure.
Do you wear one of those respirator masks
I don't
too?
because I'm outside, and I
Okay.
do it on a day when there's plenty of air movement.
Oh, wow. So
So-
wouldn't want to do it in the winter time.
No, so
Not Minnesota.
that piece is sort of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Not this one, but the other, yeah.
What is your title on this one?
Just yellow irises.
Yellow irises. Okay. All right. Let's look at that interesting one.
Yeah, the other one is called, oh, nope, not,
It's sort of enamel-y
yeah,
looking.
it's a
kinda
smaller one. It's called
almost-
chameleon.
It's almost, I think
And
it's,
it's a very interesting way to paint because the paint, you put it on and you can control it somewhat. You decide where you want the paint and what colors you want to use, but it takes over its own control too. Each type of PBO paint does different things. Some of it, if you could see it closer, you could see that it moves around, forms different patterns on its own. And there's 3 different types. It's a vitriol, it's made in France, so it's different type of paint. But it gets a very hard enamel finish when it's finished.
yeah, it reminds me of enameling.
In fact, you could use it on a tabletop. You could make jewelry from it. A lot of versatile uses, but I just think it's fun to see what it does when you put things against each other or with each other.
do you use brushes or do you just drizzle it on?
I drizzle
or
it on. And
Drizzle it on.
it takes a lot of paint. It's not a cheap way to paint, but it is a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot.
Oh.
I just wish it didn't smell so badly.
Oh, wow.
They said don't use it around light fixtures or anything because you could cause a fire.
Oh.
So,
Well,
so it isn't anything
make your
that
choice whether you will try it or not, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
so
But
it isn't anything I would recommend to just everyone because you do have to take a lot of precautions.
but the blues and the oranges, once again, you've got the contrast of the
And they do arrange
opposites.
themselves somewhat after that.
Yeah. It has a lot of interesting highlights. Bright, almost looks coppery, and little dabbles of color. Almost looks like jewels, 3-dimensional jewels on part of it.
Well, there is one gemstone that I
Okay,
put
there
in
is
there.
one in there. Okay.
And then I put a chameleon on there because
Where
they adopt their colors or adapt their colors to the color of the
Oh, okay,
painting.
right there.
And I made a goof, so I covered it with
Ah,
a chameleon.
neato. Well, that is very interesting.
So
I don't know if-
paintings, you can sometimes, if you have a bad one, doesn't mean it's the end of it. Just try and do something else with it, and pretty soon you've got a creative piece that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise.
Right. Good advice.
Which is what I'm doing right now. I'm cutting up old paintings to do the type of thing that's in that Bird of Paradise painting.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, let's see what else you might share with us tonight. You are very versatile. Have a nice art studio
I do,
at your home with lots of light coming in. So,
except that I painted the kitchen table.
oh,
I just like it better there.
this is another
That's the one that,
kind of a different technique. Of
that's the
some
one where I'm
sort.
cutting up old watercolor paper and things like that to get the different colors. And it's easier to do that for me than to try and paint those different things in with a brush. If I color my paper first, the watercolor paper or whatever it is, and color that first, I can cut it up into shapes.
Oh.
And it's a lot easier to do that than to try and do that right on the canvas for me.
Now, what is that one called?
Birds in Paradise.
Oh, and it almost looks a teeny bit like stained glass window in parts of it, but then the other parts that are kind of vertical.
Oh, there's
there
knife
and
work,
there.
there's all kinds of things in there, but you outline each piece, and that makes it look stained glass.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that.
And it has a lot of color, which I love.
Right. You would really notice that. As
So there aren't too many techniques that I haven't tried, but every time I see a new one, I rush to the art store and I buy more supplies.
Yes.
I love buying supplies.
your place is loaded.
But I
Do
do
you
enjoy
teach
trying
any
it.
classes with
No.
any of these methods? No, you just do it yourself when you want to, when you
I
have
do
time.
what I want when I want now that I'm retired.
Right, which
And
is
I'm
nice.
Enjoying it.
Right. That's, you don't have a set schedule. You could be flexible with whatever other activities you want to do. So
That
that's
one
really
is quite
nice.
heavy because there's probably 2 paintings underneath it.
What is the like bright? It's like bright. Those lines are bright gold
metallic
almost.
gold paint.
Oh, it is metallic gold. Okay. I wondered that.
With the new paints now, there's every kind of thing you could ever want to use. There's metallics, there's just about everything. And so if I see it somewhere, I have to have it and have to try it. But I did find out you don't mix liver of sulfur with other products.
Oh, does it explode?
I had to rush out of the house quick. So I do like to try new things.
read the scientific directions first, right? All right, let's see what else you have that we have.
I think there's one more,
Might
and
have-
that stemmed from a class that we had. Artist del Norte has a lot of good workshops, and this was one of the workshops.
We put that back
And
on. Oh yeah,
it was
might.
done by Linda Kemp,
right.
and she paints negative painting. And that's very hard for me to get my brain around, because you think about starting with your background and working forward, and with negative painting, you do your main items first, and then you work back from that. And then when you've got all your darks in, then you start and put your lights in again. And it's thinking totally the opposite from anything that you've done before. But I really enjoy doing it, and I like the finished product. She was very knowledgeable and very helpful when we had
Now-
our workshop.
It's not oil paint, is it?
That's acrylic. She works only in acrylic or watercolor,
Okay, so acrylic is usually water-based and dries a lot quicker than the oils.
except that you use a lot of medium with it
A lot of medium meaning like
to keep it wet longer.
Okay, there's something you can add to it. Okay. And how did you get like the actual leaf shapes? Did you have some kind of a tool or a
For the bird
brush
shapes,
marks,
for the
or-
bird shapes, I've made cutouts,
oh,
and so that protected those birds when I painted over it. And then the leaves, you just take your brush and you brush them in.
nice.
And the different texture on here is spritzing with water,
oh,
and then it loosens up the background.
neat.
She had a lot of good techniques.
That was a workshop you
It was
took.
a workshop from Linda Kemp.
Linda Kemp, okay.
Uh-huh.
She was one of the well-known artists that came and did a workshop. There were lots of people that attended that one, right? Yeah,
Right, and we have a lot of good workshops coming up too, so.
that's neat. Of course, once again, wonderful, cool color scheme and nice composition.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. Yeah,
When you get older, you need brighter.
yes. Well, thank you very much for sharing. What do you find? I know you shared what you found fulfilling about your book and your paintings that you do. What do you find really rewarding or fulfilling about
The challenge.
the challenge of just,
Once I do a painting, I'm finished with it. It's a challenge of seeing what'll happen if I paint this way, or if I do that, or whatever I use.
so it's the
And
fun of the
It's a challenge and the fun of
challenge
doing
of
it.
process of,
And instead of sleeping, my brain is constantly throwing ideas at me, so.
that's good. Well, thank you very much. Artist del Norte is a local nonprofit art group for the community that's been around since 1976. I've only been a member for about 5 years myself, and we usually meet the last Tuesday of almost every month, except we skip November, December, January, and February, so we don't meet then when it's pretty cold. And we meet at Banfield Lock Center for the Arts on East River Road in Fridley. And we have a website, artistdelnorte.org, and Facebook. And we educate people through just, when you come, there's usually a demo artist, many, many different themes, from framing to photography to textiles to different kinds of painting techniques, and you learn a lot through those, and then you might go home and try some of what they share. And you just learn to appreciate also, even if you don't try it. And we have a lot of workshops that are offered during the year. Most of them are held at the Sandhill Center for the Arts in East Bethel, very nice facility, usually all day long, so you can come bring your lunch and hang out with people and experiment with what the teacher's telling you to learn. And It's a lot of fun. Our next workshops that are coming up will be in August and September. There's one on probably weaving and textiles, and be more painting. And all those dates you can find on the Artist del Norte website about the classes. Come and visit one of our local meetings. Our next one will be July 29th, and it's on a Tuesday. And a lady named Cheryl LeClaire Summer will be the demo artist. And we also have a rotating art program for business clients that would like to have artwork in their facility, and it's usually in there for 3 months. And maybe they choose 5 spots or 12 spots, and our artists will bring their work. It's up for 3 months, and different people can contact the artists if they want to learn more about the paintings or the artists. But then we switch them every 3 months. And that way, not only do the local businesses have maybe some of their own artwork that's always up there, but it is always changing. So it provides a lot of interest for the employees and the people that come there to visit their business. And that's a program that's really nice. And we have 2 shows a year provided for members, but the second show is actually an open show, which is coming up this fall. And so anybody in Minnesota can be in this show if they want to and apply. The entry forms go out August 30th, and the deadline for putting an entry form in is October 1st. The show is up in the Blaine Government Center from November 3rd through November 28th this year. And there is a nice reception, and there's usually a juried show, so there's a judge and comes and shares about how the winners got chosen and why he chose those works. The show reception is from 2 to 4 on November 15th on a Saturday. And anybody can go through the Blaine Government Center. They always have art there for people to see. Every month it changes. And so hopefully you'll come and visit, or you'll enter something in the Northern Showcase. We welcome anybody who would like to come and be in that. And they even have a place for 3-dimensional artwork in these little cases. Can't be real big, but we'd love some 3-dimensional artwork in there. And there's another workshop coming up in August called Charcoal Pour. And then there's one, Watercolor Landscape by Cal DeRuiter, and he's a wonderful artist, and that's October 18th. So just look us up on the web and Facebook, call, and come and visit. You're free to come and visit one of our times that we have on Tuesdays, and we'd love to see new members or visitors, interested people. And so hope that you will get to know more people, and friendships are really a lot of fun there. So, thank you.